Part A. Operation outside the UK and Ireland. This screen asks you to provide spending information where your charity has operated in a country outside the UK and Ireland. There is a drop-down list of the countries against which you can add the total amount of expenditure for each country where your charity has spending. You are also asked to provide the total spend outside the UK and Ireland. If you have no spend outside of the UK and Ireland, you can skip this question. Other. Your charity classifications and bank account details. As you can see, these pages are self-explanatory and are pre-populated with the charity's information from the Register of Charities. Here you will be asked whether the charity works with children, young people and/or adults at risk of harm. If you do work with these beneficiaries, you must have safeguarding policies and procedures in place and ensure these are adhered to. Safeguarding includes activity which prevents harm from occurring and activity which protects those at risk from harm, abuse, neglect or exploitation. Information on minimum agreed standards and guidance for good practice is available via the links provided in the I button text. If you answer yes, that your charity does work with children, young people or adults at risk of harm, there will be a drop-down of other questions. All of these questions are compulsory. Who generally delivers the service to users? How does the charity work with children, young people and/or adults at risk of harm? Does your organisation have appropriate safeguarding policies and procedures in place to enable it to carry out work with this group of people? If you tick No, a text box will appear and you will be asked to provide an explanation. Are all staff or volunteers who undertake regulated activity Access NI cleared or overseas equivalent? How does the charity work directly with children, young people and/or adults at risk of harm to provide a regulated activity? You will also be asked if your charity provides services to children, young people and/or adults at risk of harm overseas. Part A. Finance. All registered charities must complete Part A of the AMR form, no matter how small or large their gross annual income. They must also sign the declaration at the end of the AMR. Confirm your charity's financial period, which is displayed on the screen. This will normally be 12 months long, but in certain circumstances it can be shorter or longer. If the information is incorrect, you cannot proceed any further, and you must go to View or Amend Financial Periods, where you can submit a request for the financial period to be amended. Once approval has been received from the Commission, you can return to complete the AMR. If this is your charity's first AMR submission, tick the box next to Reporting Year is First Financial Year. You must tell the Commission the type of accounts your charity has prepared. That is, whether the financial statements submitted have been prepared on a receipts or accruals accounts basis. The Help Note has a definition of these types of accounts. Enter the charity's income and expenditure in the boxes provided. Please round all figures to the nearest pound. It's important you take care to enter the correct amounts. The income and expenditure are based on the figures in the charity's accounts for the financial period you are reporting on. You will have prepared your accounts in either a receipts and payments format or accruals format, as appropriate. The definition of income and expenditure will differ depending upon which format you have used. Remember, if you are submitting receipts and payments accounts, you must include a statement of assets and liabilities. Depending on your charity, this may be a short statement saying the charity has a bank account and office furniture. See the guidance ARR03, Receipts and Payments Accounts for Smaller Charities, for details. There are help notes on this page. These will give you information on what is meant by financial period, income and expenditure, definition of income, definition of expenditure. Are the figures provided from consolidated accounts? Assets and liabilities. Insert income below £250,000 under the charity's Income and Expenditure section of the form. The next question that will appear will show, have you included a statement of assets and liabilities? And if no, a message will prompt to say that this still must be reported with the accounts. Please note that most of the information provided on this page is published on your charity's entry on the Register of Charities. Part A. Auditing. This question asks whether the charity's accounts were audited, assessed by an independent examiner, or not reviewed. This table will help you see what level of external scrutiny your charity needs. Independent examination is a requirement in Northern Ireland. Charity trustees should read the Commission's ARR02, Charity Reporting and Accounting, The Essentials, where they will find guidance on appointing an independent examiner and a template letter of engagement. Independent examiners must follow the 12 directions set out by the Commission and provide a report which adheres to the content requirements of independent examiner reports. The Commission has produced a guidance document, ARR07, Independent Examination of Charity Accounts, Examiner's Guide. If your charity's income is £250,000 or less, you must at least have your accounts independently examined. The charity trustees have the right to choose who does this examination, but that person must be independent of the charity, for example, not a relative or involved in the charity. The charity trustees must satisfy themselves that this person has the skills to do the examination. For example, the treasurer of another charity, or someone who had worked in a bank. If your charity's income is more than £250,000, but less than or equal to £500,000, charity trustees can choose to have the accounts independently examined. Again, the person appointed must be independent of the charity. But at this level, they must also be a qualified person, as listed in the Charities Act, Northern Ireland 2008. This list can be found in Section 3 of ARR07, Independent Examination of Charity Accounts, Examiner's Guide. If your charity's income is more than £500,000, you must have a full statutory audit in line with auditing standards. This must be carried out by a registered auditor. Remember, if your charity's governing document says you will have an audit, or if this is a condition of funding set out in a funding contract, then you must provide an audit, even if you fall within the threshold for an independent examination. Did the auditor or independent examiner that reviewed your charity accounts raise any issues of concern in their report? Did the auditor qualify the report? A qualified audit report is prepared when the auditor is not content with the accounts. Also note the information on this page, which will be made public. This information may be published as soon as you submit the annual monitoring return. Part A. Data breach. If your charity has had to report a personal data breach to the Information Commissioner's Office, ICO, in the last 12 months, you must answer yes and provide a brief description of the nature of the breach. Guidance on personal data breaches and when and how to report them can be found on the ICO's website. This screen asks you whether your charity is registered with another charity regulator. If yes, state your registered charity number with this other regulator below. The help notes on this page provide further information to assist you to answer these questions. Please note, regulation of charities in the Republic of Ireland is now undertaken by the Charities Regulatory Authority. Note, this is the last screen of Part A. If your charity's total income is £10,000 or less, the system will take you straight to the declaration page to complete your AMR. You can skip to the part of the video that covers the declaration.